Today we're playing the best post-ban Legacy Nadu deck. That's Cephalid Breakfast, the deck featuring Cephalid Illusionist and Nomads en-Kor. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. I still really don't have any idea how Nadu Winged Wisdom survived the B&R update, but here we are playing the best version of it in Legacy. So Nadu is 1 green and a blue for a 3/4 flying bird wizard. Yeah, a lot of words, but we're still getting there. So creatures you control, whenever have this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, you could reveal the top card of your deck, put that land into play. If it's not a land, you put the card to the hand, and they can be targeted up to twice each turn for this ability. So the idea is that with Nomads en-Kor, you could target your creatures any number of times. So each creature gets 2 targets. So if you have 3 creatures in play, that's 6 Nadu triggers. Okay, well, that is how you gain card advantage. But this isn't really a dedicated Nadu deck, it's actually a Cephalid Illusionist deck. So Cephalid Illusionist reads whenever it's targeted, you mill the top 3 of your deck. So the idea here is that you combine Cephalid Illusionist with that Nomads en-Kor or Shuko, a 1-mana equipment. And then you mill your entire library, and then you'll trigger Narcomoeba. Once you trigger Narcomoeba, you can then play Dread Return using the flashback ability of sacrifice 3 creatures to Dread Return on Thassa's Oracle. When you have no library, Thassa's Oracle wins the game. Okay, well, why is Nadu so good here? It provides you a way to win that doesn't use the graveyard, because you could just Nomads en-Kor to draw your entire library over a couple of turns, and then that avoids graveyard hate for Thassa's Oracle. So it's a built-in card advantage engine that also allows you to beat the thing that traditionally you lose to, and that's dedicated graveyard hate. So yeah, this isn't a dedicated Nadu Winged Wisdom deck, but in my opinion, it's the best one because you don't have to have Nadu in order to win, but you get to use Nadu as a leverage piece. And I like options. When you look at how I build the Epic Storm in Legacy, you have a lot of options in how you win games. Cephalid Breakfast now has that sort of option built in. When you look at the other Nadu decks of Legacy, you have like the Green Sun Zenith / Living End decks where your deck doesn't function without Nadu. And then you have the elf decks, but combo elves traditionally hasn't been very good the last handful of years. Pretty much ever since Orcish Bowmasters, and even before that, if I'm being honest. But if you go back 10 years, combo elves was very good. But Nadu doesn't solve enough in those decks, in my opinion, the combo elf decks, because you still have to play things like Nomads en-Kor that are off plan and things like that. Where here, Nadu slots in perfectly without going off plan at all. So I'm a really big fan of Nadu in this deck. But outside of the combo, we do have Urza Saga as another pivot. So you can make construct tokens, or you could search out the Shuko. So it's a combo piece that also provides you with a beatdown backup plan. And with Psychic Frog out of the format, the construct tokens get a lot better. So I think that Urza Saga is very good again. At the end of the last rotation, we saw a lot of Cephalid Breakfast decks cutting Urza Saga for things like Once Upon a Time because Urza Saga wasn't fast enough and the construct tokens weren't big enough to beat Psychic Frog. That's no longer a problem. So Urza Saga is back. The Lotus Petal in the deck might seem a little odd, but that's just for the Urza Saga because it allows you to get white or green to play your Nadu if you don't have those colors. So I think the Lotus Petal is actually quite brilliant, and it's a good addition to the deck. We are a slower deck. Like Cephalid Breakfast is a deck that can play control. So we have 4 main deck copies of Swords to Plowshares along with our Force of Wills. What might seem a little odd though, we're only a 2 Daze deck. When you look at the mana base, we have 3 copies of Urza Saga, a basic Plains, Cavern of Souls, and even a Savannah. That's 6 mana sources that are not islands. So Daze actually isn't that incredible in Cephalid Breakfast, but it's a nice tool to have. So yeah, we only have 2 days. But after that, there's the classic cantrip cartel of Brainstorm and Ponder that are pretty good in Cephalid Breakfast. And then we have Memory's Journey, which is some stolen tech from the Oops All Spells deck. So this allows you to beat things like Very Macabre or Surgical Extraction on your Thassa's Oracle. But once again, you also have Nadu in order to beat Graveyard Hate as well. So you have a few ways built into your deck to just ignore dedicated Graveyard Hate, which is why Cephalid Breakfast is such a good deck. If I had to pick right now, I believe that Cephalid Breakfast is a top 3 deck in Legacy. It's just so powerful. And a big part of that is Your card didn't get banned. Nadu is still legal, and this is a deck that leverages Nadu the best. So that is how the deck functions. In the sideboard, we have Orm's Chant. This comes in against tempo decks because they have surgical extractions and lightning bolts, fatal push, all that stuff. Chant just says, nope, you don't get to do any of that, similar to your main deck copy of Teferi Time Raveler. Serenity comes in against dedicated artifact decks like Painter Servant combo or even the Mystic Forge deck. Prismatic Ending is just general good cards to get rid of things like Grafdigger's Cage, etc. Consign to Memory, Eldrazi, but also combo and other things like that. Flusterstorm and Force of Negation are really for the combo mirrors. Very Macabre and the Soul Guide Lantern, dedicated graveyard decks. And then Needle comes in to name Fairy Macabre versus decks that might be boarding in it against you that you can find off of Urza's Saga. So this deck is so powerful. There's a lot of decisions to be made, which is why I like the deck in the metagame. I like decks with a lot of decisions, which is why I love the Epic Storm. So enough of me rambling and ranting. Hopefully you enjoyed that slightly longer deck tech today. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. But without any further ado, let's play some Magic. I'll see you in the first round. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1 with Cephalid Breakfast. Let's go. Alright, so we have Saga to find Shuko. We have Nadu. This hand seems fine. Like, you don't want the Memories Journey, but I think this hand is just good enough. So we'll play the Urza Saga on the first turn because we just want to go grab Shuko here. You could wait until turn 2, but I'm not really interested in the slower game plan. On turn 2, I would like to use the Windswept Heath to either brainstorm or find a Surveil land. And my gut right now says Surveil land, but we'll see. I could always change depending on what our opponent is doing. They play Tundra into Ponder. We draw the Shuko, so now the Urza Saga can just go search out Lotus Petal if we want it to. We'll play the Shuko. So we're facing a deck where they likely have removal for Nadu, but they also probably have a counter spell. So I'm not sure what the card we want to draw here is. It's probably Counter Magic, and they're fetching pretty quickly after that Brainstorm. They get another Tundra. Prismatic Ending on the Shuko. So now I'm more inclined to go get the other Shuko again. They still have 6 cards in their hand. We'll use the Windswept Heath, and we'll grab Meticulous Archive. We'll keep the land. And now we'll tap the Urza Saga for mana. We'll go grab Shuko. Play the Misty Rainforest. And the question is, do you want to play Nadu or do you want to play Teferi Time Raveler? We'll search out Tropical Island. I don't know what the right card to pick here is. My gut says Nadu. We'll play the Nadu Winged Wisdom. Daze. Daze was not a card I was expecting out of the Prismatic Ending deck. So this might be Stifle Knot, based on them having the Daze. So whatever spell I played there was going to be countered. I just wasn't expecting Daze out of, like, Ponder, Brainstorm, Flooded Strand with Tundras. There's not a whole lot of Daze Tundra decks in Legacy, so that's why I think that this might be Stifle Knot. A decision we had on turn 2 was to Brainstorm before the Urza Saga, but the fact that I was losing my 3rd land meant that I wasn't super interested in doing that play. I'm going to Brainstorm now to see if I can get rid of the Memories Journey. Yeah, we'll get rid of Memories Journey and a copy of Swords to Plowshares. And I'll just pass the turn. So if they are on Stifle Knot, I want the Swords to Plowshares on top of the deck. But I'm going to wait to see what they're doing. So if they don't play a creature on their turn, I'm going to fetch the Swords to Plowshares away. And then on the following turn, I can play Ponder. Their own Nomads en-Kor. So are we playing the mirror match? Looks like we are. In response to the Illusionist, I will Swords to Plowshares. I really wish I had that other Swords that's on top of my deck right now, but I didn't put them on being Cephalid Breakfast. Alright, the Swords to Plowshares resolves, which means we're getting another turn. I want to redraw the Swords to Plowshares that's on top of the deck. And then we will exile the Cephalid Illusionist. It triggers milling 3. They milled over another Illusionist. Let's go. And a Shuko. We will fetch... I could try to slam the Teferi here. I don't know how good that is, but it's a choice I have. Like, they're unlikely to have their other Daze, so the Teferi would have to draw out a Force of Will. Okay, I think I'm going to do it. Teferi Time Raveler. They Force of Will exiling a Nadu. Okay. So they have 2 cards. They're about to draw up to 3, and I have the Lone Ponder. Prismatic Ending on the Shuko. So they drew multiple Prismatic Endings here. And now they're down to 1 card in hand, and I'm drawing up to 2. We draw another Ponder. That's great. We'll play Ponder. The Illusionist. Okay. We'll take that. And then let's Ponder again. We'll shuffle. I think I'm just going to slam the Cephalid Illusionist. Like, they're so unlikely to have the other Daze here. And they've already used 2 Prismatic Endings. Like, I just want to use my mana efficiently. This is a great spot for our opponent to search out a Surveil land, which I imagine that they'll do. They grab a Hedge Maze, and they kept the card on top. Their last card in hand was Swords to Plowshares. Okay, so they're on a list with a lot of removal. And now they play Ponder. They did not shuffle. Nomads en-Kor. So if they kept that, that means that they might have a win next turn. The Fairy Time Raveler. So if I bounce anything here, I lose. I think I'll plus the Teferi and pass. So if I minus on Narcomoeba or Nomads en-Kor, next turn they just attack it and it dies. And they pondered into both halves of the combo. I mean, if you've got it, you've got it. They're like, bouncing here wouldn't have done anything because they could just replay Nomads for 1 mana. So they're on multiple copies of Prismatic Ending and Swords to Plowshares. So they have a lot more removal in their list than I do. And that's the ball game. So we lose game number 1, but there's still some post-board games here. We likely want the Fairy Macabre, Soul Guide Lantern. I don't know if we want the Needle or not. That's an interesting one. Prismatic Ending. You could argue for Orm's Chant. There's just so many cards that you could use here. So the question is, what comes out? I don't know if you have 8 cards to sideboard out. You could probably get rid of the 2 copies of Daze. I think that's fair. Maybe Teferi's not that great. It's just like kind of clunky and dies to construct tokens, and I don't know if it's actually that good. You can trim at least 1 Nadu. I believe that's fine. You could probably take out a land on the draw. What land that is, I'm unsure. Like maybe the basic plains because we're not in a wasteland matchup. I don't see myself getting Lotus Petal post-board when there's Needle and Soul Guide Lantern, so I'm fine removing that. Maybe the Orm's Chant is just a trap. Maybe I shouldn't have that in the deck. We'll bring the Nadu back in. Let's do this. We're on the play for game number 2. Sure, we'll play the Windswept Heath and we'll pass. They have a first turn Ponder. They did not shuffle. We will search out Meticulous Archive. Keep the Hedge Maze. Mostly because I would like to Surveil again. And we'll play Brainstorm. Put back the Hedge Maze and Tundra? Or should it be the Needle? Probably the Needle, actually. I think land 4 probably has a little bit more value. They play their own copy of Windswept Heath. They grab the Savannah. That's a Nomads en-Kor. And another Nomads en-Kor. Sure. We will fetch. Grab the Hedge Maze. Keep Force of Will. Play Tundra and pass. They swing for 2. We'll go to 16. And they just pass the turn. Okay. So they're not going to go for it. We'll play Ponder. I think we want the other Swords to Plowshares. Prismatic Ending a Nomads. And we'll pass the turn. They swing for 1. We'll go to 15. Alright, so it looks like they're stuck on lands. I would love to draw an Urza Saga here. Start pressuring them. We'll grab Savannah. Blooded Strand. Not a great draw. We'll play it out because I can hardcast a Force of Will, which would not be amazing versus a Daze matchup, but once again, they only have 2. Brainstorm. That's fine. And you might be saying, Bryant, why are you not playing out the Nadu? Well, our opponent kept a hand where they've been struggling to do stuff. They likely have Swords to Plowshares. That is my thought process. And they were the one that drew the Urza Saga, so I think that they're ahead. And I would say that anyway, just because I've sort of flooded out a little bit, and they still have plenty of cards in hand, and now they have the Saga advantage. We draw Narcomoeba. Brutal. And I could try to play Nadu here. Okay. We'll play Nadu. Nadu just resolves. I like that. They likely have a Swords to Plowshares, though. So the Nadu will trigger. Let's let it happen. We find Prismatic Ending. I will Force of Will. The Urza Saga will now go up to the second chapter. And one reason I liked playing out the Nadu here is that we can force them to not use their constructs. And we won't be losing the construct war. That's my thought process. Brainstorm. We'll Swords to Plowshares on the Nadu. They will get a trigger out of this, so they'll go back up to 7 cards. Dread Return was put to their hand, and it resolved. Wow. Okay. I'm going to brainstorm to see if I can find a Nomads here. No was the answer. So we'll put back Memory's Journey and Prismatic Ending. We'll fetch, grab Tropical Island, and ponder. This is interesting. Should I keep this? I mean, it's not bad. Okay, I think we're going to keep. If they have the soul read of Urza Saga for Needle, I'll be punished, but we'll see. Swing. So now Urza Saga will go to the third chapter. They make a construct. And I have to imagine they grab Shuko here. They've already lost 2 Nomads. And they do grab Shuko. Land number 3. And now they fetch. They search out Tundra. And Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. The Tamiyo making clues to make the construct token bigger is very nice for them. We'll just attack here. They'll go to 16. They still have 6 cards in hand, which is just so many. So if I allow the construct to live, would it be better to just hit the Shuko? I'm not sure. I guess hitting the Shuko means that if they draw another Nadu, it's less scary. Because I do think I just lose the Nadu, assuming that they can protect it. Swords to Plowshares on the Tamiyo. Okay. At least this way, if they do find another Nadu, they aren't just drawing their deck. So my reason for getting rid of the Tamiyo there was if they have Brainstorm into Swords to Plowshares, I just lose the game. And it's a pretty big risk. Prismatic Ending for 3. So my Nadu will now be removed. And we're stuck in an awkward spot here. We'll take 1 off the construct token. They still have 6 cards in hand. We've seen a lot of lands, which is part of the problem. That's a land I'd actually like to see. Brainstorm. They find land number 4. They still have 6 cards in hand. We'll take 1 here, going to 9. Illusionist, okay. Force of Will. We will pass the turn. They play Brainstorm. This could be a turn where they try to go for it. Their own copy of Urza's Saga. They're offering the trade here with my construct. Probably because they're just planning on beating me down with this to finish off the game. So we'll take it. Another Illusionist. Sure. I'm at 7, so we are starting to get to the point where we should be worried about dying. To beat down, that is. Another land. You gotta be kidding me. Alright, we'll make another construct. We're going to hold this land in case I draw into a Brainstorm. So I could grab Shuko, or I could grab Soul Guide Lantern to, 1, stop them from winning, but I don't actually want to stop them from winning. Alternatively, I could grab Needle and name Urza Saga, so that way they can't make more constructs. That keeps me alive a little longer. Kind of like that. And we'll just pass the turn now. So with the Needle here, we just changed what this game is about. So now they're more inclined to try to win, like combo win, when I have Fairy Macabres in hand. We know that the Dread Return was in their hand. They could have gotten rid of it with Brainstorm. I'm not sure when that happened. And they have Needle, or ending for the Needle. That's unfortunate. Yeah. So now they're ahead on the Urza Saga race. Well, we drew Brainstorm. That was a good one. Let's play it. Okay. So 2 lands can go back here. We'll play Nadu. They fetch in response. Is this a hardcast Force of Will? It is. We will Force of Will back. This puts me to 6. But one thing that it did was it means that they're not making a construct token this turn. And now we'll pass. Their Saga goes up to the 3rd chapter. They make a construct. They grab Ghost Vacuum. They play Soul Guide Lantern from hand. So now their construct is huge. Okay. Them having the artifact in hand was really not good for me. So we know that we're drawing blank. So I could block with a construct here. Or I could block with Nadu plus construct and trade. The Fairy Macabres in my hand are kind of just rotting at this point. So what does a winning game look like here? So I have not found a Nomads en-Kor. So I could just double block. Or I could single block and say the only way I win is if I draw a Nomads. We've gone through 50% of our deck and not hit one yet. So maybe I just single block here and pray to draw Nomads. I think that might be the move. Okay. Nomads en-Kor, please. We'll grab the Tundra. I'd even take the Shuko. So we have 5 hits because I have 6 hits because both Shukos are still in the deck. Alright, so 6 hits out of 29 cards. Another Nadu. No! Alright, we've lost. I guess technically I can chump block. So I can block both construct tokens and then play Nadu plus Nomads next turn, assuming I draw a Nomad. That is the game plan. So I guess they didn't swing with the Illusionist, so now I could keep my construct token. The only problem is if they have another Force of Will. But I guess I lose to a Force of Will anyway because my spell would need to resolve. Alright, we'll just block with the Nadu. Let's see it. Soul Guide Lantern. I don't think that does it. We'll play Nadu. Play Soul Guide Lantern. Exile Force of Will. And now we'll draw a card. Misty Rainforest. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't do it. So we'll fetch and end the match. Brutal. There were so many. We had 6 cards there. And we just didn't find any of them. We saw over half of our deck. It happens. I don't feel like I played this match poorly. We kind of just were A, outdrawn, and B, didn't see... Like, I guess it's outdrawn, but also our opponent played well. Like, let's give them some credit here. But it seemed like our opponent was a little bit better set up for the mirror match. They had 3 prismatic endings and some number of Swords of Plowshares in their main deck. And we just had double Fairy Macabre that rotted the whole time. So maybe I overvalued the second Fairy when I saw it. But it allows you to beat Memory's Journey. So that's why I was interested in it. It just didn't work out the way we wanted. So we're 0-1. That was a pretty good match in my opinion. Let's see if we can win the remaining 4. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Alright, let's bounce back. It's match number 2. I believe we keep this. It has an Island and Ponder, right? That's the rule. You keep hands with Island Ponder. We'll play Hedge Maze, Surveil. We do not want Nadu. That can go right to the graveyard. They play Cloud Post. Okay. Daze is the draw. We'll play Ponder looking for another land. Cavern of Souls is not the land that I want here, so we will shuffle. Lotus Petal. I think we'll just pass. They play Once Upon a Time. That happens. They find Sire of 7 Deaths. Sure. Planar Nexus. So now the Cloud Post will tap for 2. And our opponent just passes the turn. Upkeep Disruptor Flute. You've got it. They name Force of Will. Well, I do have a Force of Will in my hand. Another Cephalid Illusionist. That was just terrible. We'll play Ponder. Well, there's some lands. I believe we should draw the Urza Saga this turn. Play the Lotus Petal. And we'll pass. So Cloud Post now taps for 3. They have 5 total mana, which means my Daze is unlikely to be live here. Sowing Myco Spawn. So dazing the Myco Spawn doesn't actually help me much here. They grab Wasteland. I do have 2 lands on top of my deck. They destroy the Urza Saga. I'm not terribly surprised by that, because it would have found a combo piece. We'll play Tropical Island. We know that we're drawing a fetch land next turn, so I'm going to play the Nadu here because it can block the Sowing Michael spawn in combat. A third copy of Planar Nexus, so now Cloudpost taps for 3. They're only 1 mana away from Sire of 7 Deaths. The One Ring. I am not allowed to Force of Will that. There is a Disruptor Flute in play. They draw a card using the One Ring. So now we'll draw the fetch land. Play Cephalid Illusionist. Let's bring the pain. Let's go to combat. Swing. Oh, I forgot about the One Ring protection. I am so silly. In my head, I was just like, oh, well, if they're going to try to win the game using the One Ring, I should try to lower their life total. Just completely forgetting about ring protection. Ah, geez. Not my best moment. They find Blast Zone. They draw 2 with the One Ring. Karn the Great Creator. Yeah. We're just getting destroyed here. Cursed Totem. So this will shut off Nomads and en-Kor. And Karn shuts off Shuko. So I'd have to attack the Karn. Yeah, we're not in a great spot here. This deck list does not have main deck Prismatic Ending. And it does not have... I guess I'm supposed to Daze the Disruptor Flute. It doesn't have like a Beseiju or anything. So there's no way game 1 to get rid of this. I guess I have to Fairy Time Raveler. That would be my out. We'll grab Meticulous Archive. We do not need another land. I will Daze the Disruptor Flute, picking up Hedge Maze. Force of Will, that does not help. We'll attack Karn the Great Creator. Play Hedge Maze. Land can go goodbye. Now they'll draw 3 off of the One Ring. They play another Cloudpost. So they have so much mana here. Candelabra of Taunos, sure. You have next to infinite mana now. They activate the Candelabra. Alright, my opponent is playing Kozilek's Command on my Cephalid Illusionist. So our Nadu will trigger. We put a Force of Will to hand that we don't want, and now we'll mill 3 cards. And Nadu, Ponder, and an Island. You can't even make mana with your Eldrazi. Nice Curse Totem. Our opponent is not the fastest player. They're already down to 15 minutes on their clock, and we're midway through game 1. They play the Sire of 7 Deaths. That resolves. And then they put a counter on Blast Zone. They don't attack with the Sowing Michael spawn again. I don't understand why they're not attacking. We'll pay 7 life. So now the Sire of 7 Deaths can go away. Brainstorm. That was a good draw. Let's play that. So we found the Shuko, which is how I would win. What to do? So I can Shuko twice and then Nomads twice. I guess what a winning game looks like here is I'd have to hit double lands after the first 2 Nadu triggers. So after I do these first 2, I'll play the Nomads, and then I will hope to hit 2 lands. Here we go. Let's see 2 lands, please. We did not hit 2 lands. We'll equip the Nomads. I hit 1 land. So that allows me to fetch and play the other Nomads and pray to hit 2 lands. Not great odds, but we'll try it. And now we'll target the Nomads. Okay, there's 1. So you're saying there's a chance. Let's go. All right, deck. Pretty please. Aw, we missed. Okay. We will attack for 3. So now our opponent loses 3 life to the One Ring. And now they'll draw 4 cards using the One Ring. 14 minutes on clock. They find Karakas. And now I get a trigger. Memory's Journey. Karn the Great Creator. No! And I can't play Force of Will still because of the Disruptor Flute. That is annoying. Mycosynthelatus. Yeah, that resolves. They attack, we'll go to 8. They use the Candelabra on the Cloudposts. Another copy of the One Ring. So how we win this game is our opponent just messing up, which is what I'm hoping for. So I will attack Karn the Great Creator. Did I... What? I did not... Oh no. I don't know what happened. It just skipped through the end of my turn. We'll discard Memory's Journey. And a Nadu. I don't know what happened there. It went straight from combat to end of turn. That was so weird. And I swear I didn't hit 2. I mean, I guess I could have won there, which is frustrating. But now we need to survive another turn. What's funny is I could finally play Force of Will, but now I actually can't play Force of Will now because I would have been able to pitch cast it, but now it's colorless. And if I want to hard cast it, it costs 8. They use Ayavugan. I actually found the winning line and then went through my second main phase. They find a Sire of 7 Deaths. That was actually like really good for me that they didn't find something scarier. Now they use the Candelabra. Sire of 7 Deaths. You got it. They're making 7 mana for a hard cast Elvish Spirit Guide. Okay, little odd. Opponent's down to 10 minutes now. Crop rotation. Sure. They grab an Urza's Tower. And now they attack with the Sowing Myco Spawn. I mean, I could have been dead this game if they had attacked sooner. We'll grab Tundra, I suppose. We will play a Cephalid Illusionist. Wow, we had no right winning this game. No right at all. That is a game I probably should have lost, but I will take it. I like game wins. We will bring in Serenity, Prismatic Ending, Consign to Memory, Force of Negation. We probably want a Needle. What we don't need is Swords to Plowshares. That card did not feel particularly good. What else can we get rid of here? Daze probably isn't great versus the ramp deck. 63 cards. Yeah, I honestly don't know what to take out at this point. Maybe one Nadu. You could probably take out the Cavern of Souls. That makes sense to me. They're not a Chalice deck. Are you allowed to take out the Lotus Petal? I don't know. Alright, I'm sure somebody will eat me alive in the comment section for sideboarding out Lotus Petal, but I'm going to do it. Sure, this hand seems fine to me. Keep Planar Nexus. We'll play Plains into Nomads en-Kor. Pass. Once upon a time. Tabernacle. Okay. They play the Tabernacle. This is going to be annoying. We'll auto-yield to the trigger. I'll pay. Tropical Island. Ponder. We'll keep this. Attack. Beseiju Who Endures. Crop rotation. This seems like something I'd like to Force of Will. We'll do that. Keeping the Nadu in my hand. We'll pay for the Nomads. And I do not want to draw the Dread Return, so I'm going to play out the Flooded Strand here. Attack for 1. Another Planar Nexus. So they don't have a Cloud Post, so I feel like the Crop Rotation Force of Will play was a good one. We'll fetch with Flooded Strand. Grab Meticulous Archive. Surveil away Memory's Journey. I don't want that. And now the Nomads will trigger. Is this a Kozilek's Command for 1? Looks like it. It is. So they're going to exile my Nomads, and then they're going to scry 1 and draw a card. They put the card on the bottom. We draw another Nadu. We will play the Bird Wizard versus Tower. So this is a land that now taps for 3. The One Ring. Yep. That's not good. We will pay Force of Will. Decent draw. We'll play out the other Urza Saga. No point in attacking. We know better. I learned that lesson in the first match, or first game of the match. So on their end step, we can make a construct token and then use the Urza Saga to find Shuko. We'll draw 2 here using the One Ring. Another copy of Planar Nexus, so they have 6 mana. Karn the Great Creator can meet a Force of Will. Get out of here. End step, we will make a construct. We'll pay, and we'll pay for Nadu. So the other Saga will now gain the ability, and we'll search out Shuko. Equip to the construct, triggers. We had a Misty Rainforest. Equip to Nadu. We hit Savannah. Equip to the construct. Equip to Nadu. All I'm doing is hitting lands here. Wow. Okay, so I've gone through what we can use there. We'll fetch, grab a Tundra. Actually, I should probably use the Savannah. We'll ponder. Kind of like all of these. Let's make another construct. We'll equip twice. So this will give us 2 more triggers, hitting the Flooded Strand and the Ponder. Now we'll fetch. Grab Island. Let's ponder again. We had Nomads en-Kor. I don't want the top 2, so I'll fetch those away. We'll grab Tundra. Play Nomads. Equip to Nomads. Brainstorm, Hedge Maze. Dread Return can go to the graveyard. And now with the Nomads, in their upkeep, I can draw 8 cards. We'll attack for 6. Alright, so I'm just going to be annoying here and do it all in the upkeep. Target my Nadu. Thassa's Oracle will target Construct Token number 1, number 2, Construct Token number 2, Construct Token number 2, and our opponent concedes the match. We got it. I feel like, I didn't play game 1 perfectly. We got away with 1, but game 2 I played reasonably well. Alright, so we're 1-1, 3 matches left to go. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and Mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. It's time for the third match. We're on the draw. I'm going to keep this. It's a 1-land Ponder hand, but you do have a pair of Brainstorms, and we have Force of Will if our opponent's playing combo. They activate a Scalding Tarn. Okay. Volcanic Island. Dragon's Rage Channeler. So a fair deck, not a combo deck, but we could still use the Force of Will to protect our own combo. Alright, so we'll use the Misty Rainforest, leaving the Flooded Strand open for Basic Island. I'm sorry, for Basic Plains. We're grabbing the Basic Island with the Misty. We'll play Ponder. I don't hate this. So we draw into Ponder next turn, leaving the Meticulous Archive. I think that's fine. Wasteland. We'll take 1 off the Dragon's Rage Channeler. 2 mana here for a Seek the Beast. So they're on Temur Delver. We'll let the Seek the Beast happen. They kept the card on top. It reveals Unholy Heat Volcanic Island. Sure. I would like to Brainstorm. I would like to convert the Thassa's Oracle into something useful. Moto is lagging a little bit right now. It's not letting me select Thassa's Oracle. There we go. Alright, so then I think Nadu will be the other card. Like, Nadu's good, but we've already found Cephalid Illusionist. So I'm not overly concerned with fetching. Like, I want to get Basic Plains here. So then I'd have to find a green source too. Like, the Nadu just doesn't seem great to me. They didn't play the Unholy Heat. Or, I'm sorry, the Volcanic Island. Like, I was never going to play into Unholy Heat. But I'm surprised that they didn't play the Volcanic Island from exile. So that Seek the Beast did nothing for them. Sure. They have 4 cards remaining in their hand. In our upkeep, I will search out the Basic Plains. We find Daze. Let's Ponder, looking for a combo piece with the Illusionist. We find Urza Saga, but they have Wasteland in play. I think I'll shuffle this. Swords to Plowshares. Play Meticulous Archive. Get rid of Nadu. And I don't think I want to play into Daze, so we'll wait. In response to the Wasteland, I will Swords to Plowshares on Questing Druid. They Daze the swords. So I could try to Daze here to save the archive, but I don't think the archive is that valuable. The question is, do I think that fighting over Questing Druid is a winning play? I'm not sure that it is. So we'll take 3 here, going to 13. And then they could replay Volcanic Island. Yep. Another Swords to Plowshares. We will Brainstorm. We found land. We'll hide a Daze on top. Actually, Daze should be 2 down. Right? I think so. We'll play Urza Saga. And that will pass. In their upkeep... Actually, no. Because if they interact, they can scry or surveil with the Channeler. So now I will Swords to Plowshares on the Questing Druid. They Force of Will, exiling Force of Will. So our opponent has decided that this game is about Questing Druid. I think I'm going to fight here, exiling the Daze. They'll gain 3 life that we don't care about. So they're still 1 short of Delirium for the Channeler, and now they're down to 2 cards in their hand. We're about to draw Tundra. Wish I had that other Daze that's on top of the deck right now. and a really large Murktide Regent. So let's just think through this. They have one card in their hand. This is going to be for 1, 2, 3. So 6 total. Next turn I would take 7. And then this would go up to the 3rd chapter and we would win. So I think I'm actually supposed to let the Murktide Regent resolve. We could even make a blocker for the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Yeah, putting Tundra on top was just the wrong move. I think I'll pass. Actually, is it better here? Hold on. It might be better to play out the Illusionist. Because I'm trying to think, if they find Wasteland, hypothetically, it's better for me to be able to brainstorm and keep more mana open next turn. Yeah, I'm supposed to play out the Illusionist. Because it's just like, Wasteland makes it so I can't win. Where if they do find Wasteland, I can brainstorm next turn into the other combo piece. They ponder. I'm going to let this go. They kept the card on top. So you could force the ponder, but if their last card in hand is Lightning Bolt, you die. Or you lose the game anyway. So like I just have to fight over Lightning Bolt. I can't afford to fight over something else. So we're about to mill the Daze here. So we'll mill Daze. We could let the Channeler Surveil happen. And now I'm going to Force of Will the Unholy Heat. What's your last card? Boom! We got it. Take that. Our opponent apparently just conceded the match. Okay, well, we're 2-1. You're still watching. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. We are on the play for the 4th match. Yeah, this hand seems incredible. Keep. So we need to find land number 3, and then we just have Nadu combo with Force of Will back up. Our opponent takes a mulligan. I can definitely see why people like this deck. Like, it is very powerful. You get to play Force of Will and Swords to Plowshares. I think my concern with the deck is that sometimes your draws just feel a little clunky. Like, you are playing 6 3-mana value spells. So between 4 Nadu and 3 Teferi can feel a little top-end heavy. Ooh, I think we keep that. Alright, well, instead of Nadu now, we just have a turn 3 win. If that's what we're into. Our opponent plays Tropical Island and Unmask. Exiling Reanimate. I don't know what they're up to. I'm going to let this go. Because if I Force of Will it, I lose another card. Or there's a chance here that they just take Nadu, which I don't care about. Or they take the Force of Will, and I get to keep the other card anyway. And they take the Force of Will. Alright, let's play Brainstorm. I like that we drew Tundra. We'll put back Swords to Plowshares and Shuko. And then I'm going to play out a Nomads here. Alright, Nomads en-Kor is on the battlefield. And step they Brainstorm. I'm not really sure what they're playing. Like, I guess it's like Bug Reanimator, but I'm not used to seeing Tropical Island in this deck. In leading on Tropical Island, they can't go Entomb Reanimate this turn. Like, Tropical Island just seems so bad. I'm not trying to make fun of our opponent's deck. It's just like, you're a deck where you want to play Entomb Reanimate, and it does neither of those things. Like, Badlands, or I'm sorry, Bayou probably would have been better. And they just conceded game number 1. Okay. Sure. Not quite sure what that's all about, but I'll allow it. We'll bring in Fairy Macabre, Soul Guide Lantern. We likely want Force of Negation. I could even see Flusterstorm. Do we want Ormschant? I am not sure. So they're likely a large creature reanimator deck. I think the way you approach this matchup is you don't let stuff resolve. So taking out Swords to Plowshare seems fine to me. And you still have Teferi Time Raveler too. We're at 63. I think we want the Daze. You probably don't need the basic planes, so that can be sideboarded out. And then Lotus Petal, because like we're always going to get Soul Guide Lantern over Lotus Petal. And now we're at 61. Maybe the 4th Nadu. I believe that's reasonable. We'll try this. We will keep. Our opponent with a mulligan. They lead on Verdant Catacombs, Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. That happens. So if they didn't play a discard spell, my plan was to play turn 1 Hedge Maze Pass. But now I think that maybe we need to fetch and play Ponder looking for interaction. They take Brainstorm. That's interesting. We'll play the Hedge Maze. Don't think we need Orm's Chant. We'll put that to the graveyard. Now they Brainstorm. Something you could have done instead of playing Hedge Maze on turn 1 was just play out Urza's Saga and try to get the Soul Guide Lantern as fast as possible. We'll see if I'm punished for not making that play. It was something I was considering, but I think that one thing that happens in post-board games with Cephalid Breakfast is your opponents have Fairy Macabres and Surgicals, and being able to pivot into constructs is really good, and you can't do that if you play Urza Saga on the first turn. They shuffled off Ponder. They have 4 cards left. We draw Orm's Chant anyway. We'll play Urza Saga, and I think I'm just going to pass. If I had drawn a blue card, I would have played the Ponder, but right now I think that Force of Negation, exiling Ponder, is the play, and then Teferi Time Raveler is going to try to pick up whatever could have, or if our opponent forces through a threat, Teferi bounces it. They cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm. They search out Underground Sea, and then they play Undercity Sewer, so we know that our opponent has a land in their hand. Legolas's Quick Reflexes, wow. That's not a card I've seen in this deck too often. We draw Nomads. We'll play Flooded Strand. They know about the Flooded Strand, they do not know about Tundra, so I'm trying to represent strength here when I don't have it, because our hand, honestly, is not very good. They play the Underground Sea, and now we'll fetch. My plan is to make constructs. So we'll select Tundra, then let's make a creature. Fairy Macabre, that was a good draw. And now we'll grab the Soul Guide Lantern, exile the Troll of Khazad-dûm, and then we'll play Tundra. Go to combat, swing. They're at 13. So in theory, next turn, I could try to like Orm's Chant them to Time Walk and win. So I attack for 6, in their upkeep, we Orm's Chant, and then we fight with it with Force of Negation. Dragon's Guard Elite, I've never seen this card before in my life. Alright, so it has Magecraft. Whenever you cast a sorcery or copy an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Dragon's Guard Elite. 6 mana, double the number of counters on it. That does not seem like a playable card. Sure. There's probably something I'm missing here. Witherbloom Apprentice. So you boarded into the Witherbloom combo. That's fine. We'll play Misty Rainforest. And now with only 2 cards left in their hand, we'll play Teferi Time Raveler. We'll bounce the Dragon's Guard Elite. Attack them for 6. This is actually pretty sweet. So we can upkeep Orm's Chant them, and then untap and win with our Teferi Nomads en-Kor. We'll grab Savannah. Orm's Chant targeting you. Oh, my bad. I forgot that they can attack the Teferi. My bad. So maybe I should have left 1 construct back. That was a misplay on my part. Nadu. So I can go Nomads plus Illusionist, but it loses to like a fairy. Let's try Nadu. So my fear here is that they have a Daze for the Nomad. That resolved. Play the Nomads. And if this resolves, we probably just win. Okay, and it does resolve. We'll target we'll target Nadu with the Nomads. We had Force of Will. And the opponent concedes the match. That was interesting. So we're now 3-1. This deck feels so powerful. Let's see if we can finish the final round and get a win, making us 4-1, only losing the mirror match. Stick around and watch match number 5. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? The final match, on the play again, so we've won quite a few die rolls. We have Cephalid Illusionist, Nomads. This is a 1-land hand where you don't have the... We have 2 A pieces right now. We're lacking the B. So we're missing Nomads en-Kor or Shuko. And this is what I was talking about with the deck feeling clunky. Like, Illusionist, Nomads, Teferi feels awful. We do have a Daze. So the question is, like, do you think that Flooded Strand for Surveil land plus Daze is good enough? And I don't think it is. So we'll take a mulligan. Ay, ay, ay. This is the opposite problem. This hand is all Bs. But you do have Urza's Saga? I don't know. We're going to keep this. Might get punished. Meticulous Archive. Put the Misty Rainforest to the graveyard. They play a Misty Rainforest. Narcomoeba. That's what I would call a perfect draw. Alright, we'll play Nomads. So I'm purposely playing in a Daze here because we have two of them. And I would like to get this Saga online, but I don't want them to know about it. Because they might counterspell this, not knowing I can get Shuko with the Urza Saga. We'll pass the turn. They search out Undercity Sewers, Edge of Autumn. So they're playing Doomsday. And we have a hand that just does not function. Not a good hand in this matchup. Night's Whisper. I talked about Night's Whisper in my last Doomsday video, and I brought it up to a few of my good friends who are Doomsday experts, and they just ridiculed me. So I am happy to see Night's Whisper here. I feel like it's good when you're playing a bunch of Cabal rituals, which they end up discarding. We rip the Illusionist. What are the odds they don't have Force of Will? 0%? We'll play Lotus Petal. You don't have it. You didn't keep a hand with Force of Will versus username Bryant_Cook. Oh no, they did have the Force Will. I am so surprised. That's unfortunate. They exile a Thassa's Oracle. We'll grab Savannah so that way we have green mana in case we draw a Nadu. Swing. Am I dead? Did you find the Doomsday? I'm guessing if you discarded Cabal Ritual, you were looking for Doomsday, which would explain why you also got rid of the Edge of Autumn. Land number 3. Personal Tutor. So they'll have Doomsday next turn. So they need Dark Ritual Doomsday plus the win. Force of Will? Come on, draw Force of Will. Nadu. Okay, we'll take a Nadu here. So they need another Force of Will to beat me. Blue, green. Please resolve. Pretty please. Pretty please. Nope. Force of Will exiling Daze. We'll equip. Attack for 3. So next turn they can play Doomsday, putting themselves to 5, and I don't have lethal. So outside of drawing like an Illusionist, I don't know how we win this. I guess I could draw Force of Will, but it would depend on what their other cards in hand are. Like I would need their cards in their hand to be bad. Dark Ritual, Doomsday. So with one card in hand, they could win if their last card in hand is a cycling creature or an Edge of Autumn. Most lists these days only play 2 Edge of Autumn, 2 Street Wraith. So they would need one of the remaining 3 cycling cards in hand, which isn't impossible, but it's also not super likely here. And you can see that our opponent has selected an Edge of Autumn for their pile from the graveyard. So they opened up on double Force of Will Daze plus Doomsday in the first 4 turns. Like, that's pretty good. The question is, can we rip a 3rd draw step in a row? We drew Illusionist, Nadu, and now we need another really good draw step if we want to win. So I guess I can look at what they exiled. Both Street Wraiths are in exile, so they knew better than building a Street Wraith pile, because I'm going to knock them down to 2. Brainstorm. Let's play the Brainstorm. Swords to Plowshares. They'd have to build a pile that just goes like cycle, cycle, Oracle. So it seems crazy. I'm purposely not going to play out my land because I want them to respect Force of Will blue card. And if they do that, maybe they don't draw their entire deck and they lose to the swords. Their last card in hand was a Brainstorm. That's not good. I really needed their last card in hand to just be like a blank, because now they might be able to empty their deck. So now, end step, they can like consider and mill. Yeah, if they built their pile correctly, they don't lose the Swords to Plowshares from here. So another option I had, which I'm not convinced is like a good play, is I could have put back Tundra Swords and then pondered, hoping that the 3rd card down or my random shuffle was Force of Will. But once again, I'm not convinced that's a good play. I was more hoping that they couldn't empty their entire deck. But with the last card in hand being Brainstorm, it seems very likely. Because they can go cycle Edge of Autumn, cycle Edge of Autumn. Yeah, so they have it. They had Consider in their pile. I just didn't know that their last card was Brainstorm. And now they have no library left, and they can just play the Oracle. Yep. So let's see if it'll let me draw cards. So the Ponder would have missed, and then I would have had to draw a random card off the Ponder. So we were hoping for a Ponder shuffle that hit exactly Force of Will. Seems unlikely. Okay, so Doomsday. We'll bring in Consign to Memory. Cluster Storm. We want Force of Negation. Orm's Chant isn't the worst either. 67 cards. You could probably take out the Memories Journey. Actually, I know that my friends are still playing fairies. Maybe I shouldn't. That is Fairy Macabre. You could definitely take out the basic planes, though. That one's free. One Nadu. Swords to Plowshares. And now we have one more cut. I don't know what the last card out should be. It's either Lotus Petal or a Shuko. I think it's going to be the Lotus Petal. I considered another land for a moment, but that just doesn't feel right to me. We're on the play. If this hand had a single land, I probably would have kept it. Okay. This hand is interesting because I can keep the Cavern of Souls, and then if I draw either Nomads, or I'm sorry, if I draw either Cephalid Illusionist or Nadu, Cavern makes them uncounterable. So we'll bottom a Flooded Strand, and then I'm going to just play turn 1 Nomads en-Kor. We'll search out Tundra and play the Nomads. Pass the turn. Polluted Delta. Duress. That resolves. Goodbye to my Force of Will. We rip the Illusionist. Wow. How lucky. Swing better, swing. So there's no Cabal Therapy, so I'd have to lose to a Force of Will here. We'll say Wizard. We'll play Illusionist. Yeah, this is a spot where I would love a Cabal Therapy. I think I'm going to pass. So I could have just milled my entire library, Dread Return, and they concede. Nice. We would have drawn a Daze and then Ponder into Garbage. Okay. I would not have seen the Ponder off of, or I would not have seen Force of Will off the Ponder. It was one card too many down. But I got away with one there. I didn't feel like we were going to win that game, and then I drew exactly what we needed. All right, the final game of this Cephalid Breakfast League does not have a Force of Will. I think we'll try it, though. They play a Polluted Delta. We draw land number 4. Not the best. They search out Undercity Sewers, Dark Ritual, Doomsday. I am not going to brainstorm in response. Like, you'd have to brainstorm into exactly Force of Will here, and I'm just not convinced that's a good play. Because then I'm redrawing cards I don't want. We already have the Consign to Memory to help buy time. So, at least to me, I think we want to grab a Surveil land and then untap, draw, reevaluate, and then I can brainstorm plus fetch. There's 2 Dazes in the pile. There's 2 Force of Will, 3 Daze. 3 Daze, 3 Force of Will in exile. The Cavern of Souls is not in the pile. There is double Thassa's Oracle. So there's probably double Thassa's Oracle, a land. Interesting. There's no Edge of... So the pile's double Oracle, Edge of Autumn, land. We'll grab Meticulous Archive. We'll put our Oracle to the graveyard. We don't need that. Land number 5? Come on. Alright, so maybe I'm supposed to just pass here, because that way I have double Consign to Memory open, because you can replicate it. Thoughtseize. We will brainstorm in response. So the question is, do they have the win here? We did find Force of Will. We'll put back an Illusionist. I will Force of Will, exiling a copy of Cephalid Illusionist. They fetch with Scalding Tarn. Brainstorm. Did you build a Lion's... No, the Lion's Eye Diamond is in exile. You did not build the Lion's Eye Diamond pile. There's 2 Lotus Petals that are missing, so they could have built a double Lotus Petal pile, but they built a Shelldock Isle pile. You don't see that too often these days. Now they have 1 card left. So next turn they could try to double Thassa's Oracle off of the Shelldock Isle and then hardcast. Let's grab a Hedge Maze. We're really hoping to draw like something good here. Ponder's fine. We'll keep that. Looking for another piece of interaction. And I think we'll fetch to thin. Just slightly improve our odds. Play Ponder. Blusterstorm Daze. So if their plan is double Shelldock Isle, the Daze is better. Oh, yeah, I think we keep this. So they have no deck left, 4 cards in hand. Thassa's Oracle. So I could just Daze here, see if they pay. And then the Shelldock Isle's turned off. That might be the move. Because if they have another Lotus Petal, there's 1 Lotus Petal missing. So there's 2 Lotus Petals in exile. we'll pick up the Hedge Maze. They tap the Shell Deck Isle for a blue, and they pay for the Thassa's Oracle. So now the trigger will go on the stack, and we will consign to memory with Replicate. We'll target the Oracle again. So Daze Force Will beats me here. They have 3 cards. Well, there's the Daze. So now you need exactly 4. I guess another Daze would beat me here, but there's already 2 in exile. They had Daze. Holy moly! They had Daze Force as their final 3 cards. You know, that stinks, but they earned it. That was quite an impressive hand there. Wow. They got me. So, yeah, we finished 3-2. That was a pretty good league. My thoughts on the deck? It's obviously very good. I am not super experienced. I didn't play perfectly this league, but I feel like overall I played relatively okay. I think that there's too many 3-drops, personally. Teferi just never felt super good to me, but this is a sample size of 1 league, so obviously I could be wrong. It's just this part of the deck felt like extremely clunky, and I prefer a little bit more smoothness. That said, it's hard to go wrong. Like, this deck list is just so powerful, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. What you should do is like, comment, and subscribe because there's no better way to support us. And if you enjoyed this video, head over to moxfield.com and follow us there. It's truly the best deck website on the internet. We update all of our decks there regularly with the latest and greatest technology, so you're always up to date. Once again, go check out Moxfield, and thank you for watching.